Continuous improvement is the final and most strategic phase of the investigation lifecycle. At this stage, the organization moves beyond simply closing a case. Instead, it asks a more important question: what can we learn from this investigation, and how can we use that knowledge to become a stronger organization? A workplace investigation should not be viewed as a one-time response to a problem. A mature investigation function should help the organization learn, improve, and prevent similar issues from happening again. Every investigation provides valuable information. It tells us not only what happened, but also why it happened, what weaknesses allowed it to occur, and what changes are needed to reduce future risks. The goal of continuous improvement is simple. Every investigation should make the organization better prepared for the next challenge. The first step in continuous improvement is ensuring investigation quality. Quality assurance ensures that every investigation is conducted in a consistent, professional, and defensible manner. A high-quality investigation should not depend only on the personal experience or judgment of an individual investigator. Instead, organizations should establish clear processes, procedures, and standards that guide investigators throughout the investigation lifecycle. This includes maintaining documented standard operating procedures, commonly known as SOP. SOPs provide a consistent framework for investigation planning, evidence collection, analysis, reporting, and documentation. They help ensure that investigations are completed properly and remain aligned with legal and organizational expectations. Another important quality assurance practice is regular file review. Experienced investigators, managers, or designated reviewers should periodically examine investigation files to evaluate the quality of the work. The purpose is not to criticize the investigator, but to strengthen the overall investigation process. Reviewers should ask important questions. Was the evidence collected properly? Was the analysis complete? Were conclusions supported by facts? Was the investigation conducted fairly and consistently? Regular file reviews help identify weaknesses, improve investigative practices, and maintain professional standards. Organizations should also measure investigation performance. Useful metrics may include the types of cases investigated, the time and resources required, recurring workplace risks, trends across departments, and the value created through corrective actions. By measuring investigation activities, organizations can better understand their risk environment and improve future decision-making. Another important element of continuous improvement is conducting after-action reviews. An after-action review provides a structured opportunity to reflect on an investigation and identify lessons learned. After completing a case, investigators should review what worked well, what challenges occurred, and what could be improved in future investigations. These discussions help organizations improve investigative strategies, evidence collection methods, communication practices, and decision-making processes. In some situations, investigators may conduct a review while the investigation is still ongoing. This is sometimes referred to as a hot debrief. A hot debrief allows the investigation team to identify challenges early and adjust their approach before the case is completed. After the investigation concludes, a final review can examine the entire process and capture important lessons. It is important to maintain a clear distinction between the formal investigation report and the after-action report. The investigation report focuses on objective facts, evidence, and findings. The after-action report focuses on recommendations, improvement opportunities, and organizational learning. Keeping these functions separate protects the integrity of the investigation while allowing the organization to improve. Continuous improvement also requires regularly updating investigative procedures. Investigation methods cannot remain static because workplaces continue to change. New technologies emerge, digital evidence becomes increasingly important, and legal expectations continue to evolve. Organizations should periodically review their investigation procedures to ensure they remain effective and practical. For example, an organization may discover that investigators need better guidance on handling digital evidence, conducting remote interviews, assessing credibility, or documenting investigative reasoning. These lessons should be incorporated into updated procedures. Organizations should also learn from external developments, such as arbitration decisions, court decisions, and regulatory expectations. When external decisions identify higher standards for evidence or documentation, investigative practices should be updated accordingly. Investigations may also reveal weaknesses in organizational policies. A policy may exist on paper but create confusion in actual workplace practice. When this occurs, organizations should clarify expectations, improve guidelines, and ensure employees understand their responsibilities. Another important part of continuous improvement is knowledge management. Knowledge management means capturing investigative experience and transforming it into organizational knowledge. Over time, organizations can develop investigation toolkits containing templates, interview guides, checklists, decision frameworks, and process maps. These resources improve consistency, support investigator development, and make future investigations more efficient. Maintaining historical investigation data also creates valuable intelligence. By analyzing cases over time, organizations can identify patterns such as repeat misconduct, high-risk departments, recurring policy violations, and systemic workplace issues. This allows organizations to move from simply reacting to problems toward actively preventing them. Ultimately, the purpose of continuous improvement is to build organizational resilience. A resilient organization does not simply correct problems after they occur. It learns from those problems and strengthens its systems to reduce future risks. This requires looking beyond the immediate incident. The question is not only, what happened? The organization must also ask, why did this happen and what conditions allowed it to occur? This is the purpose of root cause analysis. Root causes may include weak internal controls, ineffective supervision, unclear policies, insufficient training, or cultural issues. Addressing these underlying causes is essential because correcting only the individual behavior may not prevent the same problem from happening again. Organizations must also consider the concept of foreseeability. Once an organization becomes aware of a known risk, it has a responsibility to take reasonable corrective action. Ignoring known risks may increase future exposure if similar harm occurs. Therefore, investigation findings should lead to meaningful preventive actions, including targeted training, leadership development, policy improvements, awareness programs, and stronger organizational controls. Continuous improvement transforms workplace investigations from isolated events into a strategic organizational capability. The strongest investigation programs do not simply answer the question, what happened? They also answer, what can we learn, and what should we improve? By applying quality assurance, conducting after-action reviews, updating procedures, managing knowledge, and addressing root causes, organizations can turn investigations into opportunities for learning, prevention, and long-term resilience. A successful investigation does not only resolve yesterday's problem, it helps build a stronger organization for tomorrow.